What if the color of your eyes isn't a cosmetic trait at all, but a biological record of where your ancestors survived, and where they almost didn't? When we look at eye color today, we treat it as appearance, aesthetic, genetic lottery, something inherited without purpose. But biologically, that assumption is wrong. Eye color is the visible outcome of how much melanin your iris produces, and melanin is not about beauty. It is about energy control, radiation defense, and visual performance under specific environmental pressures. From an evolutionary standpoint, your iris is a light-regulating organ. It decides how much radiation enters the eye, how light scatters before reaching the retina, and how much protection your DNA receives over decades of exposure. In other words, your eye color reflects where human bodies were shaped by sunlight, darkness, climate, and survival risk. More than 70% of humans today have brown eyes. That dominance is not random. It is the original human configuration, the default state of our species. Everything else is a deviation driven by migration, mutation, and selection. Brown eyes contain the highest concentration of melanin in the iris. This pigment absorbs a large portion of incoming light, including harmful ultraviolet radiation, before it can scatter inside the eye. From a biological perspective, this provides three critical advantages. First, DNA protection. Melanin reduces UV-induced cellular damage inside the eye's delicate tissues. Second, visual stability in bright light. Less internal light scatter means less glare, and clearer vision under intense sunlight. Third, long-term ocular resilience. Higher melanin density is associated with a lower lifetime risk of UV-related eye disorders. For early humans evolving under the African sun, this wasn't optional. It was survival. This is why brown eyes remain dominant in equatorial and high UV regions across Africa, South Asia, Southeast Asia, and the Middle East. Brown eyes appear uniform because melanin masks internal light effects. But under low-angle light candlelight, sunset, fire, subtle amber or gold reflections can appear. That is not color change. It is physics, revealing layered iris structure beneath dense pigmentation. Brown eyes are not basic. They are biologically optimized. Every person with blue eyes on Earth shares a common origin. Not a population, not a region. A single genetic mutation. Between roughly 6,000 and 10,000 years ago, a mutation affecting the HERK2/OCA2 regulatory pathway dramatically reduced melanin production in the iris. The result: eyes with almost no pigment. Blue eyes are not blue because of pigment. There is no blue dye in the human eye. Instead, they rely on structural light, scattering the same optical phenomenon that makes the sky appear blue. Shorter wavelengths scatter outward, longer wavelengths pass through. This means blue eyes can appear icy, gray, or pale depending on lighting conditions. But here's the real evolutionary puzzle. Blue eyes spread extraordinarily fast. In Northern Europe, frequencies reached between 70% and over 90% in some regions in just a few thousand years. Why? Two leading explanations exist. Low light advantage. Reduced melanin allows more photons to reach the retina, potentially improving sensitivity during long, dark winters. Sexual selection. Rare traits attract attention. Blue eyes may have spread because humans found them striking, not because they were safer. Ancient DNA evidence complicates the story further. Some early Europeans with blue eyes still had dark skin. This proves eye lightening evolved before skin lightening, dismantling older assumptions about synchronized traits. Gray eyes are among the rarest eye colors on Earth, affecting less than 3% of people. They contain even less melanin than blue eyes, but scatter light across a broader range of wavelengths. The result is a steel-like appearance that can shift subtly between silver, slate, or greenish tones. Functionally, gray eyes may represent an extreme low-light specialization adapted for environments dominated by overcast skies, long winters, and minimal direct sunlight. But this adaptation carries trade-offs. Lower melanin means higher UV vulnerability, greater sensitivity to bright conditions, increased need for protection over a lifetime. Culturally, gray eyes are often described as unreadable or emotionally neutral, possibly because reduced chromatic variation makes subtle eye cues harder to interpret. Biology doesn't assign personality, but perception follows structure. Green eyes occur in only about 2% of the global population. They are not a single gene outcome. They require a precise interaction between moderate melanin levels and lipochrome, a yellowish pigment. Too much melanin and eyes appear brown. Too little and they appear blue. Green exists in the narrow middle. This balance makes green eyes chemically and optically sensitive to environmental conditions. They may appear mossy in shadow, golden in bright light, or shift toward hazel depending on surroundings. Evolutionarily, green eyes may have offered flexibility in temperate environments, forests, mountains, variable light zones, providing both partial UV protection and increased sensitivity. Genetically, they appear most frequently in people of Celtic and Germanic ancestry, particularly in parts of Ireland and Scotland, but can arise anywhere given the right combinations. Their rarity is not mysticism. It is probability. Hazel eyes are true optical chameleons. Unlike other eye colors, hazel eyes genuinely shift appearance due to intermediate melanin levels interacting dynamically with lipochrome and light. They often combine brown near the pupil, green or gold toward the outer iris. This makes them adaptable to mixed environments, neither extreme light nor extreme dark. Amber eyes are rarer still. They contain high lipochrome concentrations with very little melanin, producing a stable golden or copper appearance that does not shift. Interestingly, amber eyes are common in predatory animals. Wolves, owls, eagles, and humans may subconsciously associate the color with alertness or intensity. From an evolutionary perspective, amber eyes likely spread through visual signaling, not environmental necessity. True black eyes do not exist. What appears black is actually extremely dark brown. Melanin so dense that almost no internal light scatter occurs within the iris. This high pigmentation allows the eye to absorb most incoming light, providing strong protection against ultraviolet radiation and glare. Such eyes remain visually stable across harsh lighting conditions and are most common in equatorial populations, where sunlight exposure is intense year-round. Heterochromia is a separate condition. It refers to having two differently colored eyes, or distinct color regions within a single iris. This affects less than 1% of people and results from uneven melanin distribution during early development. In most cases, it is harmless and does not impact vision. Culturally, asymmetry draws attention. Biologically, it is simply variation. Your eye color is not a personality trait. It is not destiny. It does not define intelligence, emotion, or ability. But it does tell a deeper story. It reveals where human bodies adapted to sunlight and where they did not. It shows how migration reshaped biology as humans moved across continents into new climates and unfamiliar light. It reflects how chance genetic mutations spread, not only through survival, but also through attraction and social preference. When you look in the mirror, you are seeing thousands of years of evolutionary compromise. Protection balanced against sensitivity. Stability weighed against adaptation. Your eyes are not a measure of beauty. They are a record of biology, written by environment, shaped by movement, and preserved through time. Science doesn't strip away meaning. It replaces myth with something deeper and more durable. Understanding your body doesn't make it less special. It makes it more real. When we learn how biology actually works, we don't lose wonder. We gain context. If you value explanations grounded in evidence, in evolution, and in measurable biology, not trends, not fear, and not exaggeration. This is what we explore here. This is pure science explained. And the next time you look into your own eyes, pause for a moment. You're not just seeing a color. You're seeing adaptation. You're seeing history. You're seeing survival, quietly written into biology and carried forward by you.